Hello everyone, this is part 9 of What If Naruto Traveled Back in Time and Changed, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. The next day, Naruto bid farewell to Gaara, Kankuro, Temari, Mayuri, Raza, Samui, Omoi, Karui, Yugito and gave a firm handshake to Ai, who smirked at him and declared that when Naruto was grown, they would have a spar. Naruto returned the smirk with one of his own and bumped his fist with the massive mitt of the fourth Raikage. He said goodbye to his friends, one by one. He locked eyes with Gaara and gave him a firm nod of the head, which earned a smile from Tsuna's Jinchuriki. After the groups departed, the Hokage returned to his office and dispatched his Anbu to gather the potential Jonin sensei. 3 hours later, due to one silver-haired ninja with a face mask, the meeting was finally able to start. Hiruzen growled as he set down his pipe. Kakashi, this is the last time you will be late when answering my call. I care not for your petty rebellion, it was time for you to leave the Anbu. The next time you are late, you will be doing 1 week of D-rank missions solo with half pay. The punishment will double each time. The Jonin in the room sniggered and Kakashi glared at each of them with his single eye. We care not for the civilian teams that we know will fail, so we will cut straight to the good stuff, dear readers. Hiruzen cleared his throat after Genma's protest of getting another purely civilian Genin team. Alright, Team 7, it will be led by Kakashi Hatake. Kakashi, any preferences for your team? Kakashi looked up from his orange book and I smiled. Sasuke Uchiha, Naruto Senju and I don't care. Kakashi returned his attention to the orange book. Iruka, who had joined the Jonin as the fresh Genin's Academy instructor, stood up in protest. Kakashi, if you read the portfolios I prepared instead of your smut, you would know that Naruto and Sasuke are oil and water. Putting them on the same team would be catastrophic. Hiruzen blew out a ring of smoke. Iruka is right. I will grant you Sasuke, but Naruto has already been claimed by another, that was approved by me. This earned whispers around the room, but Kakashi's eye smile fell. Lord Hokage, he is the son of my sensei. It is my right and duty to train him. When I took him to Tsunade he said as much. Kakashi protested. Hiruzen ed an eyebrow, you have no such right. As Iruka stated, the Uchiha boy and Naruto cannot be on the same team. Naruto would end up killing Sasuke before they even completed their first C rank. Kakashi scoffed, if I don't get my sensei's son, then who does? I do, senpai, came a soft voice from the corner of the room. All eyes turned to see Itachi Uchiha making his presence known. I will be taking Team 8 and I requested Naruto. I cannot take my little brother as it would be a conflict of interest. Kakashi turned a disbelieving eye to the Hokage. You are going to have an Uchiha train a Senju. Are you insane? Hiruzen stood up and flared his aura, which instantly got Kakashi to back down. That will be enough, Kakashi. If you will not end your tantrum, then leave. I will send an Anbu with your team assignment if you cannot refrain from disrupting the meeting further. After Hiruzen retook his seat, a beautiful red-eyed Kunoichi stepped forward. Lord Hokage, I thought I was going to be the Jonin sensei of Team 8. Hiruzen sighed wearily, he had forgotten to have that conversation with Kurenai. Look, Muzuhi, you are a very fresh Jonin. For this cycle, I will have you acting as a supplementary instructor when you are not on missions. You will learn from your peers and develop a teaching style of your own. In 1 year, you will be granted a Genin team. Kurenai bowed her head submissively and stifled the tears threatening to escape. As you wish, Lord Hokage. Hiruzen laid that to rest and looked at Itachi. I have already granted you Naruto Senju, do you have any other preferences, Itachi? According to the reports, the Hyuga heiress will be allowed to join the Genin teams due to her father's recovery. I wish for her because Naruto is already close to her, and she has great potential. I will leave the third to you, but I request that it isn't Kiba Inuzuka due to conflicting personalities. Kurenai looked with heavy interest at Itachi. He requested her surrogate sister. Kurenai had tried to help Hinata throughout her childhood and she had redoubled her efforts after the massacre. She would definitely be talking to Itachi to take part in the team's training. Plus, he was the only person in the village that could outdo her in genjutsu. Hiruzen puffed his pipe and looked at his son. Asuma, any requests? Asuma was chewing agitatedly on a cigarette. Ino shika cho. Enough said with that. Itachi chuckled, which caught the Jonin in the room off guard. If you think you will be able to coast by, think again. Ino and even Shikamaru have been joining Naruto for his training sessions. If you aren't careful and attentive, they will lose all respect for you as a sensei. Asuma's cigarette fell out of his mouth. He thought he could take this team and ride their coattails as a Jonin sensei. He thought the Nara would lead and plan and be lazy. Thanks for the heads up, Itachi. Jonin, you are dismissed. Iruka, please stay and help me plan these out. You will get your teams this Friday now that all students have returned. If you don't like your Genin teams, that is too bad. Deal with it. Hiruzen issued the warning in a vain attempt to prevent his week from being disrupted by whining Jonin sensei. That Thursday, Naruto, Ino, Shikamaru, Chuji, who was simply following Shikamaru, and Hanabi were waiting outside of the hospital. They didn't have to wait too long when they saw a nurse pushing Hiashi Hyuga out of the hospital's front doors in a wheelchair. The Hyuga clan head tried to maintain a dignified look as he rested with his back straight and face fixed in the wheelchair. As they exited the hospital doors, Naruto took over pushing the wheelchair for the nurse by disarming Hinata's protest with a smile. Hiashi noticed the interaction, but there were more important things to deal with. Thank you all for coming and thank you for supporting my daughter during my recovery. Hiashi slightly inclined his head to the group. No problem, Naruto chirped. Hinata is like a little sister to us. We would never let her go through something that awful alone. This earned a blush from the Hyuga heiress and a snigger from Hanabi. Ah, yes, Naruto Senju, it appears that I owe you a great debt. My daughter informed me that you removed and replaced the seals. How did you accomplish such a feat so quickly? Hiashi asked. I believe we can discuss that in private, Lord Hyuga. For now, why don't we enjoy the fact that you are out of the hospital? Naruto countered, not wanting to spill secrets in public. At Hiashi's reluctant nod, the group walked through Konoha where many villagers offered their congratulations on Hiashi's recovery and condolences for the loss of his clan. The Hyuga patriarch did his best to remain poised as the many condolences came one after another. His expression started to crack, and tears were poorly hidden behind his white eyes by the time the group reached the front gate of the Hyuga compound. Unmarked guards displayed their foreheads proudly and welcomed Hiashi back to the compound. After a welcome back celebration, Hiashi pulled Naruto into his office for a long overdue conversation. Hinata attempted to join the pair, but Naruto got her to back down with a sorry smile and a please. Naruto sat across from Hiashi's desk and met the intimidating man's gaze. Where to start? I guess, I should say the Hyuga clan thanks you for all your assistance over these past months. I specifically owe you a sizable debt of Grodd. Hiashi started after staring impassively at Naruto. No, Lord Hyuga, you do not. I have not done what I have for you. I did it for your daughter. Naruto countered. My daughter. Correct me if I am wrong, but you had no interaction with my daughter before your return to the village. Hiashi said with a raised eyebrow. During my time in hiding, she was one of my true friends. You could say I have been a part of her life since her 5th birthday, in fact. During my time away, I always kept an eye on her and some others when I sent clones to scout Konoha. Naruto answered truthfully. He knew that all Hyugas can easily tell when someone is lying thanks to their bloodline. Hiashi cast an incredulous look at Naruto's statement and his eyes took in every small detail of the blonde in front of him. That was you. Naruto nodded. How? How did you know he was going to betray us? The fox grants me certain abilities. I felt the negative intentions tainting the village. As for how, my father stored some of his memories and abilities within my seal and those activated when I was 4. I simply used that knowledge and what I learn in my self-studies to thwart the attempt. Naruto answered carefully. Everything he said was a half-truth, but it wasn't a lie and people like Hiashi were used to speaking in half-truths. So, you are the neighborhood watch? Hiashi asked incredulously. Part of it. I will not tell you more at this time. As a partial payment for my aid to your family, I am choosing to trust you with this information. The intimidating preteen met Hiashi's firm gaze with even intensity. Very well, I acknowledge my debt to you and to your father, for that matter. Answer me this, why has the Branch family consented to Hinata and myself regaining control of the family? Why have they not finished what Hisashi started? Did you know I was working with Hisashi to free the Branch family? Naruto countered his questions with a question. Yes, he told me that he was working to create a counter-seal. I was under strict observation by the elders, but he was able to move more freely. Hiashi answered. Do you know why he snapped? Naruto asked another question. No. Hiashi answered simply. Ataru went after Neji, whose prisoner seal I had disabled. When the seal didn't work, he ordered him whipped and beaten. Then the elders talked behind your back about executing him, which drove Hisashi into a state of madness. With his prisoner seal disabled by me, he tore through them. He killed them so nobody could take revenge on the Branch family by activating all of their cursed seals. Then why did he attack me? Hiashi countered. Did he attack you or did you put yourself in his way? Naruto asked, unflustered by Hiashi's scowl. Hiashi processed the memories of the night and then nodded his head. I tried to get in his way. The fight moved from the courtyard because Hinata and Hanabi attempted to interfere, and I thought he would kill them too. Naruto shook his head. You should know your brother better than that. After I saved you, I talked to him after he disabled me. He never intended to hurt you or your daughters. He knew you wouldn't take revenge on the Branch family. Okay, let's say I accept that. Let's go back to why the Branch family is still deferring to my daughter. Hiashi redirected. Simple, because that was the condition for me removing their seals and placing the new one. They are all bound by Uzumaki contract to respect my wishes. If any of them attack with intention to kill your daughters, their chakra will automatically be sealed. It helped that Hinata had made her intentions to remove the seal known early on in life. Naruto answered. Why are you so committed to helping my daughter? This goes far past childhood infatuation. Hiashi couldn't wrap his head around this concept. Naruto shrugged. I have the rights to my secrets. Hiashi conceded and his shoulders slumped. Do you wish to marry my daughter? Whoa. No, no, no. That came out of left field. Naruto was flustered for the first time in the meeting and was shaking his hands rapidly in front of him. An amused smirk planted itself on Hiashi's face. Well, why not? It is clear that you care about her. Naruto regained his composure and glared at Hiashi. Look here, old man, your daughter is a great girl. That being said, we are 13, or I will be 13 soon. Marriage is not on the discussion block at this time. Your daughter is my friend. If something more comes naturally, then we will deal with it at that time. Hiashi's smirk changed to a small, concealed smile. Very well, I look forward to that day. So, what do the Hyuga owe you for your services? There should be a contract signed by your daughter on your desk. The payment can be at your leisure. I will hold on to the favor for a later date. For now, look after Neji. I haven't been able to interact with him much, but he is taking the loss of his father hard. I never asked, but what happened to his mother? Hiashi's smile faded. She succumbed to a brain tumor, likely due to use of the caged bird seal. It was one of the main reasons Hisashi bore a grudge against the main family. Then my first request is that you formally adopt Neji. Take care of him and help him heal. Naruto asked with a slight dip of his head. Hiashi nodded but looked with an analytical gaze at the blonde. Why? The question is going to bother me, Naruto Senju. Why go so far for my family? Why not do what I can to make the world a better place? Rest assured, your family is not the only one I have helped. Naruto answered without answering his question. The conversation continued in this evasive manner until Hiashi thanked Naruto once again and escorted him out of the compound. That Friday, Naruto picked Hinata up early from her compound and then walked to Ino's house. Shikamaru and Chuji were waiting with Ino, and the group made their way to the academy together. Shikamaru used the time to bring Chuji up to speed on Naruto and the rotund boy accepted Naruto easily. Naruto noticed that Chuji was much buffer than he remembered at this point, and he asked him about it. Chuji wore an abashed look when he answered the question. Well, Kumo was really committed to physical training. I was younger than everybody and I had to work really hard to catch up. Killer Bee took me under his wing and taught me proper dieting for bodybuilding. It went well with my family specialty and now I look like this. Chuji finished as he pulled a strip of jerky out of his pouch and began munching on it. Troublesome. You do bodybuilding and we get stuck with CrossFit. Shikamaru groaned. Ah, Shika, don't say that. CrossFit workouts are shorter and higher intensity than bodybuilding. Think of it this way, it gives you more time to look at the clouds. Naruto offered in an amused tone, which drew laughs from the group. Yeah, Shika, plus you look a lot better than you did 6 months ago. You actually look like a ninja. Ino added. Troublesome blondes. The group made it to the academy and took their seats. Nobody missed the scowls from Sasuke and Kiba when Naruto entered. Sasuke because the blonde was so much stronger than him, and his father chastised him for it. Kiba because Naruto was close to Hinata and had taken his self-claimed position as the class alpha. Even though Kiba felt a debt of loyalty to Naruto, he simply couldn't get past his feelings for Hinata and his jealousy for Naruto's station in the class. The group ignored the scowling boys, the screeching girls and Iruka's closing statement for the semester. They only perked up when it was time for team announcements. Team 1, nobody cares. Team 7 will be Sasuke Uchiha, Kiba Inuzuka and Sakura Haruno under the command of Kakashi Hatake. Enter the usual screeching from Sakura and groans from Sasuke. Team 8 will be Naruto Senju, Hinata Hyuga, Shino Aburame under Itachi Uchiha. Sensei, why does that bastard get to be on the same team as Hinata? Kiba growled out. Sensei, why does he get my brother? Sasuke exclaimed. After silencing the boys, Iruka provided an answer. Teams were chosen by the Hokage. Sasuke, family members are discouraged from taking their siblings on Genin teams because we want to avoid favoritism. Now, please remain silent. Team 9 is still in service, so Team 10 will be Shikamaru Nara, Chuji Akamaiki and Ino Yamanaka. Ino groaned and leaned into Naruto. Damn it, I knew our dads would ruin this for me. Sorry, Ruto, looks like we aren't on the same team. Ino's pouty voice earned her a pat on the head from Naruto. It's okay, Ino. We can still train together before and after team sessions are over. It just gives you a reason to reach Chunin faster, that way we could be assigned missions together. Naruto consoled his friend. Ino used her puppy dog eyes, enhanced with unshed tears, to shoot her best pouty face at Naruto. You promise, Ruto? Naruto felt Hinata grip onto his arm and felt her glare at Ino. Yeah, we're friends. I will help you all train no matter what happens. Just because we aren't on the same team doesn't mean anything. You will just have to pester your sensei to do joint training with us. Chuji polished off another stick of jerky before opening a bag of trail mix. Yeah, I am interested in the CrossFit. Count me in. Shikamaru groaned, must everyone be so troublesome? The group's talk was interrupted by 3 Jonins entering the room. One was a raven-haired young man with deep tear troughs set into his face. He wore the standard Konoha Jonin outfit and had a tanto secured to his back. The next was Asuma, look it up. The final one was Kurenai in her Naruto standard uniform, once again, look it up. Team 8, with me. Itachi called and began walking out of the room. The red-eyed beauty followed him out of the room as Naruto, Hinata and Shino rushed out of the room after saying the goodbyes to their classmates. Team 10, with me. Team 7, go grab lunch, your sensei is chronically late. Asuma said calmly while chewing on a cigarette. Team 10 waited as the other Jonin sensei entered the room to grab their teams before they were able to follow Asuma out. Ino squashed the urge to smack Shikamaru over the head for dragging his feet, but that didn't stop her from barking orders at him. Chuji just walked behind the duo with a heavy amount of amusement displayed on his chubby face. Back with Team 8, Itachi took the group and Kurenai to the memorial stone and took a seat on the ground. Alright, Team 8, we will start with introductions. I am Itachi Uchiha, I like my family, Konoha and Pocky. I hate traitors and arrogance. My dream is to become the first Uchiha Hokage and lead Konoha well. My hobbies include training, working on new jutsu and mastering the Sharingan. Itachi said in a calm monotone. I am Kurenai Yuhi. I am a new Jonin and a genjutsu specialist. I am here to gain experience as a sensei and provide assistance to this batch of genin teams. I like genjutsu, my friends and romance novels. I hate perverts and traitors. My dream is to be known as the best genjutsu mistress, lead a Genin team and find a good man to start a family with. My hobbies are refining my genjutsu arts and leading the women's empowerment movement in Konoha. The last part drew raised eyebrows from Itachi and Team 8, all of them thinking that maybe she was taking things too far. Kurenai pointed to Naruto to pass the mic to him. I am Naruto Senju Uzumaki, I am almost 13 years old. I am the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. I like my friends in Konoha, Kumo, Suna and Wave. I also like training, developing new jutsu and my family. I dislike people that are judgmental, traitors and those that would harm my friends. My dream is to make the world a better place and settle down with a family of my own. My hobbies are practicing with my senjutsu, fuinjutsu and my bloodline abilities. I also dabble in writing, but I haven't published anything yet. Itachi, remembering that Naruto had used senjutsu during the Hyuga massacre, confirmed his thoughts. Have you been able to master senjutsu? Kurenai looked incredulously between Naruto and Itachi. Not necessarily master. It takes me far too long to absorb the energy. That being said, I can enter sage mode if I have enough time to meditate. I am still waiting on Jiraiya to develop it much further. Naruto answered nonchalantly. Sensei, what is senjutsu and sage mode? Hinata asked. Itachi looked to Naruto, who cast an amused glance at him as if saying, why don't you take this one? Itachi fixed his gaze back on Hinata. Senjutsu is the practice of using natural energy to enhance one's own body and capabilities. Sages are incredibly rare and are usually tied to summoning contracts. Jiraiya, the first Hokage, the fourth Hokage and Orochimaru were known sages. Everyone was gaping at Naruto, even Shino, though it was hidden by his high collar. Hinata looked super cute as her mouth gaped into a small, oh, and Naruto couldn't stop the thought that maybe that was her, oh face. Shaking off his inner pervert, Naruto noticed Kurenai giving him an appraising look, but he could care less. She was a beautiful woman, but he was well aware of her genuine disgust for him. He smirked as he thought that he should send Yosuke her way. She looked like the kind of woman that would appreciate an old-fashioned, Bushido-style man. He actually started nodding as the plan came together in his mind. Itachi let the stunned silence hang for a minute before pointing at Hinata. I am Hinata Hyuga, heiress of the Hyuga clan. I like Naruto, training and adapting the gentle fist, training in use of the bow and cinnamon buns. I dislike people that attempt to control others, judgmental people and perverts. Naruto already helped accomplish my dream, so I am just trying to become a dependable kunoichi. My hobbies include flower pressing, tea ceremonies and creating medical creams. Kurenai beamed at Hinata while Itachi simply nodded and pointed to Shino. Shino answered in his usual monotone. I am Shino Aburame, and I am the heir of the Aburame clan. I like bugs, strengthening my hive and making my clan proud. I dislike people that abuse bugs, people that judge me for what I carry and traitors. My dream is to become the first Aburame to host 5 queens. My hobbies include bug catching and tending to my colonies. That's pretty cool, Shino. You should stop by my compound. My senjutsu practice gathers a lot of natural energy and it has some pretty cool effects on the surrounding wildlife. Also, since I am a Jinchuriki, I was wondering if your bugs would benefit from my specific chakra. Naruto offered, clearly extending an olive branch of friendship. If Shino wasn't held by his stoic clan traditions, he would have leaped over and glommed onto Naruto. As it was, Shino was a true Aburame, so he settled with a gleam in his eyes, hidden by his sunglasses, and a smile obscured by his high collar. Naruto was able to sense his excitement and he heard Shino's voice crack. That would be most appreciated, Naruto. Itachi smiled at the interaction but decided to get the Genin test over with. If Kurenai weren't there, he likely would have passed them straight through. He clapped his hands together to break the touching moment and snapped them all back to looking at Itachi. Alright, so if you didn't know, you aren't true Genin yet. Today, we will have a test. Itachi closed his eyes and a shadow clone popped into existence and started speaking for him. Your task today will be to destroy me. All it will take is one good hit. You have an hour to complete this task. Begin. Kurenai watched with an amused smile as the Genin darted into the tree line. Then, she lost them, which was strange since she was a natural sensor. Deciding to investigate, she cast a knowing glance at Itachi and his clone, who remained motionless in the clearing. She hopped into the tree line and started looking for the Genin. Her senses let her feel 200 meters and she calmed her breathing and stilled her motion to focus on spreading her chakra. To her amazement, the Genin were right below her, but their presences were obscured by a barrier that was layered with a genjutsu. After 5 minutes, Kurenai watched the Genin emerge from the barrier and noticed that Naruto glanced up and winked at her. Deciding to watch the impending show, she followed the team and took up an overwatch position high in a tree that bordered the clearing. She was joined shortly after by Itachi, who remained impassive and crossed his arms as he watched the Genin execute their plan. He activated his Sharingan to make sure he didn't miss anything. Itachi noticed immediately that there were 2 teams of 3. One walking calmly toward Itachi's clone and another setting up behind the clone, who hadn't activated its Sharingan in the spirit of fairness. The clone watched the 3 Genin approaching cautiously and it stiffened its posture slightly to a more battle-ready stance. Itachi watched as the 3 figures in the open attacked in tandem, with Naruto leading the way followed by Hinata using any openings he created. Strangely, the Aberrane was only limiting the clone's movements with Shuriken, which clued Itachi into the fact that this was the clone group. Itachi noticed the 3 Genin using the chaos created by the clones to envelop the Itachi clone in a loose triangle, with Shino remaining in the clone's blind spot. Itachi's Sharingan picked up on the miniature chakra signatures of Shino's Kikaichu bugs that flew just above the ground and from high above. As Itachi's clone popped the final shadow clone, the 3 were in position and closing in fast. Flurries of Shuriken and Kunai were launched at the clone from 3 sides and the clone jumped into the air. Naruto, seeing the clone was airborne, used water style, water gun, to shoot multiple, fast-moving, condensed water bullets from the tip of his finger. Hinata also used the water element and used water style, water bullet, and spewed 2 larger globs of water at the airborne clone. The clone, restricted from using the Kawarimi by its creator, spun rapidly and used fire style, mythical flower jutsu, and spit globs of fire that intercepted each of the water jutsu that were attempting to collide with it. Shino, see that it was his time to shine, sent out the signal for his bugs on the ground to fly up at the clone's new trajectory while the bugs from above came down. The clone saw the swarming insects, but it was forced to use its kunai to intercept another 3 water globs that were shot out of the tip of Naruto's finger. Trapped by bugs, water and Genin waiting to strike, the clone accepted its defeat. Overall, it took less than 10 minutes for the team to destroy Itachi's heavily restricted shadow clone, but it was still a good display of teamwork from fresh Genin. Itachi appeared in the clearing and gathered his team around before breaking it down. Very good, you demonstrated an adequate level of teamwork and consolidated your skills quickly. Who came up with the plan? And whose barrier hid you while planning? Kurenai added. Naruto raised his hand. Well, we came up with the plan as a team, but you restricted your clone too much, Itachi-sensei. Kurenai-sensei, that was my Genjutsu Enhanced Privacy Dome. It is a standard tag that I carry. Itachi smiled at his team. Yes, my clone was restricted, but it would be more than enough to deal with your standard Genin team. In fact, it is rare for Genin to be adept with elemental jutsu at this stage. Who taught you water manipulation? Itachi-sensei, everyone in Naruto's study group could do as much. He wasn't happy with what we were learning at the academy, so he started a study group and trained us up. Sorry Shino, you were already in sooner. Hinata answered. Itachi turned his gaze on Naruto, care to explain? Naruto shrugged, Sensei, I have access to a metric crap ton of chakra and the Senju notes. Between Grandpa Hashi's and Uncle Toby's notes, water manipulation was one of the first things I learned. I could water walk before I left Konoha when I was 5. Kurenai was gobsmacked and she stuttered out a question. water walking at 5. That is impossible, your chakra coils wouldn't be developed enough. Naruto shrugged before looking blankly at Kurenai. My chakra activated on its own when I was 4 and I was almost killed by a mob. Most people don't have a Biju fox sealed in their stomach either. So, when dealing with me, I recommend throwing the standard book out the window. Itachi chuckled at Kurenai's stunned and disbelieving look. Very well, Naruto, I will come and observe one of your training sessions. When is your next one? Tonight. Itachi raised an eyebrow. You thought you would be able to layer additional training into your first day as a Genin. Hinata giggled, Sensei, Naruto is a stamina freak. Even if you worked us half to death, he would be ready to go by the evening training session. Itachi smirked, is that a challenge, young Hyuga? Hinata paled, Shino buzzed nervously, and Naruto laughed outrageously. Hinata cast a pleading look at Naruto, who stepped to her defense. Well, Sensei, my guess is that you have to report to the Hokage so we would be dismissed after our Genin test. If you feel like putting me to the test, I will accept your challenge, but only if you do it with me. Itachi's smirk grew. Very well, since you all completed your Genin test so rapidly, follow me for an Anbu warm-up. Naruto wore a crazed look as he doggedly pursued Itachi throughout the workout, surpassing Kurenai and thoroughly impressing the Uchiha. Hinata was able to outpace Shino, but she was still being lapped by the competing duo. They were doing laps around the training ground with workout stations every half lap. Alternating running, burpees, crab walking, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups and lunges at the workout stations. Itachi called out a number of each given exercise every time he stopped before he blurred through the exercise and darted off, with Naruto nipping at his heels. An hour later, a sweaty Itachi came to an abrupt halt and watched with an amused smile as a panting and sweaty Naruto slid to a stop next to him. Kurenai was able to outlast Hinata and joined the pair next, clearly exhausted with sweat dampening her uniform, which made Itachi fidget nervously. Maybe Naruto would halt his plan with Yosuke and play matchmaker with his two sensei. Hinata pulled up next, a couple minutes after Kurenai, but she was frustrated that Naruto and Itachi had lapped her multiple times. Shino struggled the most, having only endured academy-level workouts and his family's workout regimen. He joined the group nearing a state of total collapse with his bugs making an irritated and tired buzzing noise from within his jacket. Well, Itachi-sensei, when you are done with the old man, feel free to stop by and I will run you through a CrossFit session. Naruto said with excitement lacing his voice. Itachi noticed that Hinata shuddered at his words, but he couldn't stop the amused smile from growing on his face. Very well, Naruto. I will take you up on that. Tell me, what seals are you using to limit your movement? Itachi asked, which drew a shocked look from Kurenai. Well, I have 50 pounds on each forearm and calf. I have 100 pounds in a weight seal on my shirt. I was forced to reduce my resistance seals to level 1 to keep up with you. Before you freak out, my levels are regulated and monitored by Tsunade. She makes sure I do not limit my natural growth. Naruto answered. Itachi blushed in a state of nervous embarrassment. He had weight seals, but they were only at 25 pounds per limb. His illness was receding thanks to Tsunade, but he would be the first to admit that he wasn't the most physically fit Jonin. After all, a fresh Genin was able to keep up with him with that much of a handicap. He attributed it to the QB to save his bruised ego. Okay, well, once we have gotten the group up to the appropriate physical standards, I will ask you to apply seals to them as well. Naruto laughed before explaining his behavior. Hinata and my whole study group already have them, of course they have far less weight and resistance though. I can apply them to Shino whenever. Kurenai was hanging her head in embarrassment. Her little sister figure was already more physically fit than she was, and she wasn't even fully grown yet. She had devoted most of her efforts to her genjutsu and she was only at Chunin level in speed and taijutsu. She would have to remedy that, so firming her resolve, she spoke to the group. En Naruto, see could I join your workouts as well? Kurenai asked, cursing her stutter. Naruto shot an amused look at the red-eyed beauty. Is Hinaheim rubbing off on you, Kurenai-sensei? Kurenai's blush deepened and the group's laughter continued. I am just ribbing you, of course you can join. I think I am going to enjoy my time with this group, Itachi thought, as a small grin appeared on his face. Now, Naruto, don't give her too hard a time. Sounds like we will be joining for your next CrossFit session. What time do you start in the morning? 5:30 am since we are now in our teams. Evening sessions start at 6 p.m. Naruto answered blandly. Itachi and Kurenai failed to suppress the grimaces. They were Jonin dammit and they had earned their beauty sleep. Itachi and Kurenai went to join the other Jonin sensei at the Hokage's office to report Team 8 passing and they found that Teams 7 and 10 passed as well. No surprises there, but they were surprised when Hiruzen stated that all Genin that failed would be moved to the reserve roster. He also asked the Jonin sensei that didn't pass their teams to act as part-time trainers for the reserve Genin and said that each week of training would count as a standard B rank mission. Itachi, Kakashi, Asuma, Genma, Ebisu and Kurenai went to the Jonin bar to discuss what they wished to teach their Genin. To their dismay, Might Guy saw them walking through the village and decided to join his eternal rival in the youthful discussion. It all proceeded normally until Kurenai mentioned the CrossFit session at the Senju compound, which caused Itachi to give her a horrified look. Naturally, Guy had something to say about that. CrossFit. What is this CrossFit you speak of? At the Senju compound. What time may I inform my youthful students to attend the most youthful workout with the eternally youthful Senju? From what I have heard that boys' youth shines with the fire of 1,000 suns. Guy shouted enthusiastically. Itachi banged his head on the table, Kakashi patted his junior's shoulder in a comforting manner and Kurenai shot an apologetic look across the table to Itachi. 530. In the afternoon, right? Genma asked incredulously. Kurenai shook her head in dismay. No, in the morning. The afternoon session starts at 6 p.m. Guy stood up from the table and thrust his fist into the air. Oh. What a youthful demonstration of the youthful beauty that is the truest representation of the flames of youth. Count me out, Kakashi said blandly as he returned his attention to his little orange book. He wanted to get to know his little brother better, but he had no inclination to work out more, especially with Guy involved. Me too, added Genma with a horrified look on his face. Me three, as my new student would say, that is far too troublesome. Asuma added. Itachi smirked. Oh, Asuma, you would let your students work out without you. Itachi's normally stoic tone carried an unusually playful mirth in it. Asuma's cigarette fell from his mouth. You are kidding me, right? Asuma looked around at each of the Jonin, right? He asked in a pleading tone. Nope. Ino and Shikamaru have been part of his study sessions. Naruto even has them equipped with weight and resistance seals. Itachi was taking great joy in rubbing this in Asuma's face. As their new Jonin sensei, it would set a horrible example if you weren't there to join them. Guy's flamboyant shouts of youth rang through the Jonin bar and drew more than a few heads to their table. The next morning, at 530 am, Naruto was scratching his head as Tsunade, Shizune, Itachi, Kurenai, Asuma, Shikamaru, Ino, Chuji, Might Guy, Rock Lee, Neji Hyuga, Tenten, Hinata and Shino reported at his front gates for the morning CrossFit training. He immediately knew that he didn't have enough equipment, so he changed his plans and quickly addressed the group. Okay, well I am glad that my training has drawn the attention of so many youthful people. Naruto emphasized youthful and caused many of the attendees to flinch and cast a terrified look at Guy, who was bouncing on the balls of his feet excitedly. I had a different training session planned, but this will do. My clones will set up a Chakra-null zone and we will do a workout that will provide a baseline for your level of physical fitness. Chuji raised his hand, since he was new, and he asked his question when Naruto paused and nodded to him. Naruto, nice to see you again. What is a Chakra-null zone? It is a pleasure, Chuji. A Chakra-null zone is a seal icon set to completely negate the use of your chakra. It will also disable any resistance or weight seals, so be aware of that. Naruto started before being interrupted again. Naruto nodded to Kurenai this time. Why not let us use our chakra? Kurenai asked. Okay, everyone please follow my clones through the calisthenic exercises while I break this down for you. If you are already aware of this information, just bear with me so I can bring those that don't know up to speed. The group spread out and began warming up. Kurenai, I am depriving you of your chakra because chakra is a force multiplier. Unfortunately, too many ninjas rely on chakra to do everything for them. Think of it this way, let's say a standard Jonin's chakra can multiply their strength and speed by a factor of 10 when they channel it throughout their bodies. 5 times 10 is 50, in this case 5 is the base level of physical fitness. Now, let's take Rock Lee for example and say his base level is 25. In that case, we are talking about a difference of 50 to 250. When chakra enhances a physically fit body, the results are multiplicative, thus a force enhancer. Naruto lectured as the group stretched. Asuma asked the next question, don't weight and resistance seals make up for that difference? Naruto nodded to Tsunade, who explained to the group. Weight and resistance seals operate off of your own chakra. They are more a tool to efficiently channel chakra than they are a raw strength enhancement. Trust me, medicine and science says that nothing beats a good old-fashioned, chakra-free, workout. Guy was jumping 5 feet into the air with each hop as he eagerly asked his question. Okay, Naruto-sensei, what is this physical assessment? Naruto smirked, which terrified the group. I am glad you asked, Guy-sensei. This workout is called 30 minutes in heaven. To start, the cycle for this workout is 20 seconds on with 10 seconds of rest. You will set a number of each exercise that you will complete each 20-second cycle. Your score for that exercise is the lowest number you were able to complete in a 20-second interval. Say you set your push-up goal as 20% but on your last set you only get 15. Then your assessment score for push-ups is 15 points. Each exercise will go for a total of 4 minutes. In between exercises, there is a 1-minute break. The exercises will be push-ups, air squats, sit-ups, bicycle kicks, pull-ups and burpees. You will be in pairs with your partner counting your score and vice versa. Push-ups are worth 1 point apiece, air squats are 1 point apiece, sit-ups are 2 points every 3 sit-ups, bicycle kicks are worth half point apiece, pull-ups are 2 points apiece, burpees are worth 2.5 points apiece. Any questions? Rock Lee's hand shot into the air and Naruto suppressed a laugh as he pointed to the eager youth. What do the winners get? Naruto made a show of thinking over it and during that time a beautiful idea hit him. Well, Lee, this will end up being a campaign against yourself, and I will use it as a marker for your improvement. We will do this exercise once every 2 weeks to track our progress. Naruto noticed Lee pout and Guy was about to move in to motivate his student, so Naruto spoke. But if that isn't enough for you, I propose we have a campaign between you and I. Guy started shedding anime tears. My student and Naruto-sensei are so youthful. They're flames of youth. Guy's exclamation was halted by a bonk on the head from 1010. Look, scores will be posted as a sort of motivation. Since Lee accepted my bet, the winner gets to make the loser do something until the next physical assessment. Sound fair? Lee nodded his head enthusiastically. Indeed, Naruto-sensei, that sounds most youthful. The group got over their shudders and broke into pairs. Several Naruto clones were created and began observing the CrossFit participants. After creating the clones, Naruto deactivated the seal that exempted him from the Chakra-null zone and felt the disconnect to his potent chakra. Since he was competing against Lee, he paired up with the excitable youth and let him go first. A whistle rang out across the field, and everyone blurred into motion. 20 seconds later, the whistle rang again, and the movement halted as everyone tried to steady their pace. This process continued for the next 30 minutes. Naruto took great satisfaction in looking at the exhausted forms of everyone that went first in this exercise. He took particular enjoyment at the horrified look on Shikamaru's face, especially since Naruto's clone kept him from fleeing. Lee had pushed himself hard and fell victim to the nature of the workout. He set the bar too high for himself and burnt himself out early on. In the first 20 seconds, Lee did 30 push-ups. In the last set of push-ups, Lee was only able to do 10, which made his score for that exercise a flat 10. This pattern continued with the spandex-clad youth for every exercise. Naruto told everyone to get ready for the next iteration and all those yet to complete the workout firmed their resolve. When the whistle blew, they blurred into motion and began their 30 minutes in heaven, if Kami were a sadistic. Naruto set a high bar, but he paced himself in a manner that he would be able to complete the max number for each set. He paced himself through the workout, despite him gasping for air and feeling the intense burn of muscle groups throughout his body. Finally, the last whistle blew, and he joined his compatriots in Shikamaru's pastime as the sun began to rise over Konoha. After deactivating the null zone and collecting and compiling everyone's scores, they panned out about how Naruto expected them to. Guy won with a total of 283 points, Naruto in second with 262 points, Chuji in last with 112 points and Lee came in with 152 points, thanks to him constantly burning himself out. Naruto wrote the totals on a chalkboard and turned it for everyone to see how they matched up to their peers. Okay, so this assessment requires knowing your limits and setting realistic goals. I think we all know Lee would have scored much higher if he paced himself better and set realistic goals. Remember, the idea is to complete your given number every 20-second interval for the duration of the exercise. If you commit to the ideology behind the workout, it is an effective measuring tool. We will complete this again in 2 weeks to give you another shot. Not all of my workouts will nullify your chakra, but this one always will. If you wish for me to apply seals to you, the going rate is $200 for weight seals and $400 for resistance seals. Unfortunately for you, Fuinjutsu is the family business and I need to make a living. That is actually pretty cheap, Naruto. Asuma chipped in as he struggled to light a cigarette, which made Kurenai recoil in disgust. Yeah, well, you all get the family discount. For those that wish to stay for chakra training, you are welcome to. Guy-sensei, if I am going to have this many people, I am going to need more equipment. Would you be able to requisition it from the Hokage for me? Naruto asked the enthusiastic man. Guy nodded somberly. That is a most youthful request. Unfortunately, my student lost to you, so I wish to know his punishment before I accept this new task. As his sensei, I will join my youthful student in his punishment since it is my duty as his Jonin sensei. Naruto's smirk looked truly feral, and he looked between Guy and Lee. Very well, for the next 2 weeks Lee must get a fashion makeover by Ino Yamanaka and dress according to her instructions. Ino, I will pay you a C rank for each of them, deal. Ino nodded before she paled and froze on the spot due to being exposed to the sunset of youth. In fact, everyone froze and grew bug-eyed as the constant waves crashed on the beach of the terrifying Genjutsu. If it weren't for 10's club, everyone would have remained stuck in the cursed Genjutsu until permanent damage was done. A weeping Lee wiped away his youthful tears. Very well, Naruto. I have no choice but to set aside the most youthful clothing given to me by Guy-sensei. I will not let this obstacle dampen my flames of youth. Thus, CrossFit became the morning workout for teams 8, 9 and 10. Of course, Lee's team would often go off and do more workouts after the CrossFit session, but at least they brought energy to the butt crack of dawn. For all of the non-crazy people, they grew to enjoy Naruto's non-torturous training that followed the workout. Growing up with Tsunade, and having a previous life's experience, made Naruto a very effective instructor when it came to chakra control and manipulation. He didn't fight it because he was glad to see all of his friends getting stronger alongside him, except Team 7. Itachi took over after the morning workout and chakra control session and would often take his group to training ground 8 and have them do teamwork exercises. He broke down team roles, threw them into situational exercises and did full-on mission run-throughs against Naruto's shadow clones. Itachi was a committed and attentive sensei that showed Naruto exactly what he missed out on during the last run-through. After teamwork exercises, he did 1 hour of individual training that he used shadow clones to address each member's individual needs. He helped Hinata adjust the traditional gentle fist and adapt it to her water affinity. Hiashi provided Hinata with her mother's Juho scroll, which was her mother's interpretation of the gentle fist for those with a water nature affinity. It was much more fluid and graceful and truly fit the beautiful Hyuga. Additionally, Itachi helped her understand his support role in the team as an archer, which was the area Hinata truly shined in. Naruto was enjoying his time with the beautiful Hyuga heiress immensely. He concentrated his efforts on building up her confidence, an area she was still lacking in. Although he knew Hinata liked him, he wasn't ready for anything more than friendship because she was still far too young. There was also Temari, but Hinata didn't know that, and Naruto didn't feel like breaking her heart. Rather than complicate everything, Naruto was content to adopt a more brotherly role in Hinata's life for the time being. Shino was almost completely reliant on his clan's jutsu, which revolved around his Kikaichu. Itachi worked to develop Shino's earth affinity and he taught him how to use it effectively. Shino was the ultimate support-type ninja in a battle with his Kikaichu and earth jutsu. Itachi taught Shino how to shape and guide the flow of the battle to benefit his allies and led enemies into traps. Shino grew the most during the first month of training physically and with chakra control. This was largely due to the fact that Hinata and Naruto were so far ahead of him, but that shouldn't take away from his accomplishment. Shino also had one of his Kikaichu queens on Naruto constantly during training sessions and this yielded some interesting results. A new strain of Kikaichu that were larger and faster than Shino's standard hive emerged. These Kikaichu bugs consumed chakra at a much faster rate and they became more resistant to Naruto's potent and corrosive chakra. Naruto explained the difference between a normal shinobi and Jinchuriki when it came to chakra type and density. He explained how each village had access to Jinchuriki and how he could encounter them on the battlefield. This new hive was Shino's first attempt and an answer on how to counter the threat represented by Jinchuriki and other powerful ninjas. If Shino's battle prowess were quantified according to Genin standards, it would have been about a 4/10 to start and he was at about a 6/10 after the first month. As far as Naruto was concerned, his relationship with Itachi was much better than in his previous life. Naruto opened up to Itachi and shared almost everything with him. Itachi helped him wherever he could, but he focused on diversifying Naruto's kenjutsu and taijutsu, since he lacked Naruto's chakra affinities. He offered his advice where it fit, but he would be the first to admit that Naruto was more of a peer than a student. Itachi acted as Naruto's bridge to the Uchiha and the Hokage. After a month, Naruto had earned Itachi's trust and confidence, which painted a much more detailed picture on the behind-the-scenes details of the village than Naruto had before. Naruto realized how ignorant he was in his previous life due to the guidance and tutelage of Itachi. He also realized how much of an asset Itachi was and how much his mere presence changed in this timeline. After an evening CrossFit session, Teams 8, 9 and 10 along with Kurenai went to Akamaiki Barbecue to relax and catch up on recent events. They had reached out to Team 7 on multiple occasions, but they were shut down repeatedly. The more vocal members of the teams hogged the conversation and complained about the boring and monotonous D-rank missions. Team 9 laughed at their misfortune, but they were still relegated to the village chores in between the C ranks. So, Team 8, are you going to share how you got on the leaderboard for the Tora mission? Asuma asked, looking between Itachi and the members of Team 8. Itachi smirked, maybe my team is just better than yours, Asuma. Asuma looked offended and Ino stood up for her sensei. No way. There is no way you completed the Tora mission in 10 minutes. You must have cheated. Itachi's smirk never fell, and Naruto did an overly exaggerated, shot through the heart, gesture. You wound me, Ino. I thought you trusted me more than that. Naruto said as he acted out his fake wound to the heart. Oh, shut up and spill Ruto. Ino yelled petulantly, which made Shino, Hinata and Itachi snigger. Naruto tapped his finger on his chin, Well, hypothetically, if there were a seal master in the village, and said seal master was repeatedly assigned the same capture mission, then maybe the seal master would come up with a solution to his repeated headache. Ino growled and Shikamaru said, quit being troublesome, Naruto. I already have one troublesome blonde to deal with. Naruto shrugged, I won't disclose such information for free. He made a show of his abstinence and stuck his tongue out at Ino. That is the logical thing to do. One must maintain their advantages in battle, even over their allies. Shino added, playing into Naruto's game. Lee, dressed like a normal person due to repeatedly losing to Naruto during the physical assessments, added his 2 cents. That is most unyouthful Naruto and Shino. You should always help your allies' flames of youth burn brighter. For the fans of Lee, one of the greatest characters in Naruto, the Kami of this fanfic will describe Ino's makeover. Lee's bowl cut was transitioned into a faded military style, high fade haircut with enough hair on top to spike into a stylish look. The caterpillars were tamed into thin streamlines that emphasized the big, genuine eyes of Rock Lee. Just this change had a great effect on Lee's popularity, and it provided a great amount of gossip. Evidently, the ladies at Ino's preferred salon had to take turns plucking the eyebrows and Lee's eyebrows conquered 3 of the attendants at the salon before the ladies were satisfied with their work. Ino then changed Lee's whole wardrobe, obviously. Ino modeled him after Naruto's look after she saw what she was working with under the hideous jumpsuit. The boy's body was incredibly toned and Ino had to suppress a blush when she saw Lee topless. She had Lee buy 4 black beaters, 4 white baggy pants and a black leather jacket with the kanji for guts on the center of his back. For his ninja uniform, she modeled it after the traditional Konoha Chunin uniform, except she took the sleeves off of everything. Lee's biceps and triceps were truly works of art. Naruto got a pair of black knuckle dusters with steel plates on the back. He engraved the weight seals into the gloves and shin guards that he bought for Lee. He also applied the resistance seals free of charge since Lee was an orphan, but Guy insisted on trading Naruto taijutsu lessons for his services. Naruto accepted the generous offer because he knew Guy was the premier taijutsu specialist of the elemental nations. As a brief note, Naruto scanned Lee's damaged chakra coils and began coming up with a plan with Tsunade to let Lee use chakra reinforcement, which would make Lee a total monster. Back to the conversation, Naruto sighed internally, you can dress him up, but he is the same eccentric guy. Ah, Lee, would it make your flames burn brighter if we give you the answer or to have you figure out your own youthful solution? Lee was stumped by the question and Neji was audibly scowling by this point. Ino decided to speak up on behalf of the group. Okay, Ruto, you want a trade. If you tell us how you did it, then I will let you take me on a date. Ino said while fluttering her eyelashes at him. Hinata gasped, the group was shocked and the senseis looked on amused at the interaction. Naruto froze as he debated internally with himself. He had been messaging Temari almost every night, but they weren't official yet. He felt SMY for thinking about it that way, but a date with Ino would just be like hanging out with her at this point. Despite all of her bravado, she was still a supremely innocent girl. Deciding that there was no harm in indulging Ino, Naruto decided to call her on her bluff. Plastering a confident smile on his face, Naruto looked Ino directly in the eyes, making azure clash against a wavering baby blue. Deal. I placed a tracking seal on Tora's collar along with a paralysis tag. It is as simple as a scoop and grab. Jaws fell and Itachi smirked in pride. Pick you up at 6 this Friday. Ino was blushing furiously and Hinata's Byakugan activated subconsciously with a look of desperation and rage on her face. Naruto pretended not to notice, but he was internally crushed by guilt. He never should have done that in front of Hinata, despite moving toward friendship with the Hyuga heiress. The group stared in an awkward silence as they all felt Hinata's rage, but that turned to worry when Hinata ran out of the restaurant without saying goodbye. Naruto shot an apologetic look and the group excused himself and chased after Hinata. Naruto found her crying in the alley around the corner from the Akamaiki restaurant and he sat down next to her. He pulled her into him and began rubbing her back in a comforting manner. Hinata, I am sorry. I never should have done that in front of you. Ino is such a flirt and I forgot myself. Naruto's pathetic attempt at consoling her made her tears pour out at a faster rate. Naruto took a deep breath and wrapped Hinata in a warm hug. Kami, it would have been easier if you could have erased my feelings for those I loved. Hina, I want you to understand something. Naruto whispered soothingly. I count you among my most precious people. I love you in a way that very few would understand, but I don't love you in a romantic way. We are still kids and that may change in the future, but for now I want to be honest with you. Hinata's tears turned to rage as she looked up with hardened and teary eyes. Why am I not good enough for you? Is it because I don't flirt like Ino or flaunt my figure? Naruto sighed, Hina, I don't know how to explain it that well. When I feel closest to you, you feel like family. I want to protect you, love you and see you grow up into a happy and beautiful woman, just like my sisters. Kami, this was a terribly awkward conversation to have in an alley. Hinata began to whimper again, and her resolve was failing her. In a moment of desperation, she leaned up and pressed her lips against Naruto's, catching him completely by surprise. Do you still see me as a sister first? She asked with a wavery voice and flitting eyes. Naruto smiled sadly at her. Yes, that was a great K and I wish I felt the spark, but for me it is familial love. I don't want to see you cry over an idiot like me, I am not worth your precious tears. My only hope is that you can come to love me in a similar way, Hina Heim. Just because my feelings are not romantic doesn't make me love you any less. Hinata broke eye contact and sunk her chin to her chest. Fine, Ruto. I will try. Naruto placed a K on her forehead and walked her back to the Hyuga compound. For the next month, he went out of his way to show Hinata that he would still be in her life, even if he wasn't her boyfriend. When Hinata spoke about it with Hiashi, the usually stoic man enveloped his daughter in a hug. While he could understand where Naruto was coming from, it didn't stop the paternal instincts from flaring up. The next few interactions between Naruto and Hiashi had a healthy amount of killing intent laced into every word. A fact that Naruto respected and eventually Hiashi treated the Senju boy with a begrudging respect since his actions were honorable. Despite the drama with Hinata, Naruto committed himself to the date with Ino. While she was still too young for him to want anything else, the spark he felt with Ino was undeniable. She made him feel like a kid again, and the weight of the war disappeared in her absence. Since she knew about his connection to nature, they spent time in the shop, forests and parks enjoying a mutual interest. However, today was different because it had the date label slapped on it. Ino was in the process of turning her bedroom inside out looking for a cute outfit to wear that would blow Naruto away. She had enlisted the help of her stepmother, then ignored all of the advice her stepmother gave, rampaged through her room in a futile attempt to choose an outfit, then called her stepmother back in. While Lena was amused by the spectacle, she sat Ino down and offered some good motherly advice. Ino, the kid already likes you. You don't have to do anything super special or over the top, just be you. With that, Ino decided on a regal purple sundress with yellow diases printed into it. She wore one of her mother's old amber necklaces that was cut into a flower shape and let down her hair. She swept her bangs over the right side of her face and thought that it was cute when she partially hid her right eye. With a spray of a floral-scented perfume, Ino walked downstairs 30 minutes late. She giggled internally like a schoolgirl when she saw Naruto's breath hitch in his chest, and she got butterflies when she saw how he cleaned up. Naruto had arrived at the Yamanaka house at 5:59 p.m. and was welcomed in by Inoki while Lena hovered over his shoulder. Despite Inoki genuinely liking the boy and being his psychiatrist, he still had to put on the stern and protective father mask. He hardened his eyes as he looked at Naruto and the bouquet of fresh-picked flowers he was carrying. Damn it, it is hard to be a hard ass when this kid is doing everything right. So, Naruto, what are your intentions with my daughter? Ino used his interrogation voice to address the boy attempting to court his daughter. To his dismay, he saw it was minimally effective. Naruto smiled at Inoki, understanding the game at play. Well, Mr. Yamanaka, my plan is to take her out for a nice date and a picnic. If you would allow her to stay out late, I have a blanket and I planned on doing some stargazing while I get to know her better. Ah, that is so cute. Of course, you can keep her out late. Home by midnight though. As they say, nothing good happens after midnight, especially when teenagers are involved. Lena chirped excitedly. Inoki groaned, the damned woman just gave him permission to keep his daughter out late. Look, young man, you will respect my daughter, keep your hands off my daughter and you will have her home by 11:59 p.m., or you will not be allowed to take her out again. Am I understood? Naruto bowed his head respectfully, yes, Mr. and Mrs. Yamanaka. Ino saved him from further interrogation as her heels clattered down the steps of the Yamanaka house. Honestly, Naruto wasn't expecting much because this Ino was still only 13 and she had developed into the soul-crushingly beautiful woman that she was in his previous life. Despite that fact, Naruto's breath still hitched, and his heart raced when he saw her in her purple sundress with a radiant and slightly self-conscious smile on her face. Wow. That one word escaped his lips and Lena smirked proudly as she watched her stepdaughter come down the stairs. Since Naruto's first trip to the shop, she could tell that Ino was making a concerted effort to give her a fair shake. It had reduced a majority of the friction in the household and made way for a genuine mother-daughter relationship. Ino got to the bottom of the stairs and did a little twirl that made her platinum blonde hair and purple sundress dance. As she came to a stop, she smiled shyly and looked Naruto in the eye. So, what do you think, Ruto? Naruto blinked dumbly before regaining his composure and saying, you look absolutely beautiful, Ino. Like, wow. Ino giggled excitedly before she ran up, took his arm and waved goodbye to her parents. Once a safe distance away from her house, she kept her arm interlocked with Naruto and leaned her head on his shoulder. Naruto knew he would have to have a discussion with Ino about Temari, but he didn't want to ruin the moment or the whole date. Flashback, 3 nights ago, Kozekage Mansion, Temari's bedroom. Temari was going through the motions of life whenever she wasn't performing her Genin duties with her brothers. Everywhere she went in Suna she saw reminders of Naruto, and when everything in life slowed down, a profound sense of loneliness filled her heart. She knew that this was part of a long-distance relationship and it had always been that way between her and Naruto. Despite knowing that, Temari found that this separation was by far the worst, especially since dreams and memories of their heated session never ended. The one thing Temari had to look forward to almost every night was exchanging messages with Naruto. The communication scroll he gave her was a game-changing invention, and they were using it to make the distance more bearable. It was a far cry from hearing his voice and feeling his touch, but it was still enough to give her goosebumps in anticipation. Just like every other day, she rinsed off the desert's grunge in the shower before plopping herself on the bed and getting ready to read and write. In the past month, Naruto had told her about Samui's seduction attempt turned friendship, and he even told her about their K. Temari couldn't help the jealousy, but Naruto had told her straight up that she was nothing compared to his desert lily. She accepted that and moved on, but it did bother her how naturally Naruto made friends of the female type. Sure, she knew that he had a bunch of guy friends too, but it was the girls she was wary of. Once everything is revealed, Naruto would be the most eligible bachelor ever in the elemental nations. Of course, Temari knew that, and she had zero plans on relinquishing her claim. Naruto was, is and will always be hers. Naruto had told her that the only two girls that were actually close to him were Hinata and Ino. She didn't know why those two were so special, and she didn't know why they were special to him even before returning to Konoha. There was still something that Naruto couldn't tell her. He wanted to, but he literally couldn't. That frightened Temari, but if she knew one thing, she knew that Naruto was a good and genuine man. That is why the current message terrified her. Yeah, the ranks suck, but I think we are close to our first C rank. Anyway, we were having a group lunch and I kind of got in a situation where I agreed to go on a date with Ino this Friday. You know that I love you and I will cancel if you don't approve, but I wanted to ask you if it is okay. I know this is incredibly awkward and probably not fair of me to ask, so, yeah. Temari couldn't stop the trickle of tears as she rolled onto her back and looked at her ceiling. Kami, even the ceiling reminded her of Naruto because of that wooden fan he made for her. Normally, getting lost in the cycle of its blades comforted her, but now it made her pain hurt even worse. She had the right to be jealous, right? After 10 minutes, Temari worked up the courage to respond. I guess that is okay. I know it isn't fair of me to expect you to wait around. Naruto read the message and knew that he ed up. Kami, this situation was genuinely unfair and torturous. Naruto looked to the heavens and flipped Kami off, after which he heard an ethereal chuckle. Damned goddess and her penchant for dramas and soap operas. Naruto took a deep breath and thought out his response. I am going to cancel then. I love you too much to hurt you like this, and I already knew it wasn't fair to ask. Temari, I want you to know that you are the most important person to me. Next time we see each other, I will explain everything so that you understand. You will be the last person my contract will allow me to share my secret with, but I am confident I am making the right choice. Sorry again for asking. Temari read that and her breath hitched. The last person he could tell. Would she finally get to know all of his secrets? Did she deserve to be the only one he could tell? Kami, curse you for giving me female hormones. Ruto, if you are that serious, then I want you to go on the date. Use this opportunity to make sure I am the one you want to share your full self with. No S. If someone else takes your virginity, I will remove your kunai and smoke pellets with my fan. Naruto laughed as he read her message. It was so like Temari. Kunai. Wouldn't it be more of a katana? Or at least a kodaki? Temari laughed uproariously at that. This was the man that could always make her feel like everything will be alright. Fair enough. If you sheath your katana in anything but me, there will be repercussions. Naruto gulped before writing. Are you sure you are ready for that? Temari blushed furiously, but the time apart confirmed her feelings. Yes. What are you wearing right now? I just got out of the shower, so your tank top and an emerald thong. How hard are you right now? Let's just say my katana could pierce the feared diamond armor of Iwa at the moment. Giggle. Lol. Ruto. I miss you. I miss you too, Mari. When I get the Hiraishin down, I am going to stay with you every night. Oh, is that so? Then why do you need a date with Flower Girl? Facepalm. You will know next I see your beautiful face and taste your luscious lips. Nice recovery. Blush. Which lips? Falls off the bed in surprise. Both. The conversation turned into more of a Lightcore-esque session, and we will let the lovers have their privacy. End of flashback. Instead of losing himself in thoughts of Temari, He enjoyed Ino's warmth and close proximity as the blonde couple turned heads while walking down the street. Naruto took Ino to an upscale sushi restaurant, since sushi was Ino's favorite food. She always said that it was super tasty and low calorie, even after she broke herself from that wretched diet. Naruto enjoyed the jealous stares as opposed to the hateful glares, and he maintained a positive mood during the walk to the restaurant. Naruto broke out all the stops, making sure to pull out Ino's chair, refill her water, let her order first, let her do most of the talking while actually listening, asking insightful and probing questions when appropriate. He sat with a smile on his face as Ino blabbered on about her team and the struggles of D ranks and the flower shop. It was nice getting one-on-one time with her as opposed to the usual group environment. So, Ruto, what do you think about the current situation with the rookie teams? Ino asked. Naruto shrugged. I like it a lot. It is awesome to train with everyone every day. It is much better than being stuck with the same 3 people and isolating yourself from everyone else. Ino frowned. Yeah, Sakura is having a hard time. She says her sensei doesn't teach her anything and is always late. Plus, Kiba is a horny mutt and Sasuke still won't give her the time of day. Naruto frowned, thinking about Team 7. Yeah, well, if she wants to join our workouts you are free to invite her, but warn her that she will need to use her inside voice. As for Team 7, they have refused to join us. Probably because Kakashi is too lazy while Sasuke and Kiba are too proud to ask for help. Ino twirled her straw in her water. Ruto, do you think Sasuke will ever come around? No. Ino raised an eyebrow at his quick and prompt response. Care to explain? Naruto lightened his tone up. No, I don't really want to talk about Sasuke when we are alone together. I would much rather get to know more about you. Watcha wanna know? Ino asked in a flirtatious tone while fluttering her eyebrows. Naruto tapped his chin as he thought out his question. If you could change one thing about me, what would it be? Ino smiled brilliantly. Okay, but after I answer, you have to answer. Naruto nods. Okay, well, I would say I wish you were only mine. I am not stupid. I see how girls flock around you, and you told me about the Temari girl from Suna. Naruto rubbed the back of his neck sheepishly. Okay, you can't blame a guy for trying to find his soulmate. What would I change about Ino Yamanaka? Is nothing an acceptable answer? No. Ino's pouty face made Naruto laugh. Okay, fine. Maybe I would want her to have more self-confidence. I would want her to know and realize how truly amazing she is rather than rely on the insignificant views of others. Naruto answered while maintaining eye contact with Ino. An embarrassed smile fixed itself on Ino's face. You really think I am that amazing? I don't think, I know. You are a catch, Ino Yamanaka, and anybody who says otherwise is a damned fool. I will bet $1 million that you grow up to be the kunoichi in Konoha to boot. That being said, it is your inner beauty that draws me to you. Ino was blushing furiously, and her mind was racing 1,000,000 miles an hour. She barely processed that Naruto grabbed the check and paid for their meal. Before she knew it, she was hitched to Naruto's arm again and they were walking toward the clan compounds. Ruto, it isn't even dark yet. You don't have to take me home. She grabbed onto his arm and snuggled even closer, as if that action would make sure he couldn't drop her off at the Yamanaka compound. Oh, we aren't going to your house. I wanted to show you what I have been working on. Naruto replied casually. But, Ruto, the Senju compound is in the opposite direction. Who said anything about the Senju compound? Ino just shut up and enjoyed the walk. She especially enjoyed the jealous glances from the clan girls that were hanging out around the clan district. Eventually, the night came and street lights flickered on and Ino realized that they were almost directly below the Hokage monument on the edge of the clan district. Naruto was walking up to an empty plot of land and Ino was genuinely confused. Then, a gate appeared, and Naruto walked her through the gate into a truly beautiful world. Okay, Ruto. I love you. Her disappointment turned to excitement as she saw Naruto's smile. Naruto placed a tender K on her nose. I love you too, Ino. Naruto knew what he was doing was probably wrong, but it felt so right. He was confident Temari would understand once he shared the memories with her, which left him with trying to figure out how to tell Ino. He didn't want to be cliché and claim it was because he would be in the CRA. That would be an absolute last resort and he would commit the time between now and the Chunin exams to figure it out. Naruto picked Ino up off of the picnic blanket and Ino gasped as she saw the plants glowing with luminescent light. The garden in the Namika's compound looked like something out of Avatar as the compound literally hummed with life energy. Ino was on cloud 9 as she walked through Konoha's streets arm in arm with Naruto. The smile on her face would have threatened to split her face if she didn't feel so content. She removed her head from Naruto's shoulder and jumped on his back. She relished the feeling of Naruto's toned body and his arms snaking under her legs. She leaned her head on his shoulder and enjoyed the state of quiet contentment as the sounds of Naruto's shoes echoed across the empty streets of Konoha. Naruto arrived at the door of the Yamanaka household at 11:55 p.m. and after checking his watch Naruto decided to make the most out of his last 5 minutes. As Naruto's lips touched Ino's, the door flew open, and a respectable amount of ki flooded the doorstep. Naruto didn't even look the slightest bit apologetic as he met Inoki's fiery gaze. "Inside, young lady," Inoki said in a firm tone, despite the apologetic look that Lina was shooting the couple over Inoki's shoulder. "Oh, can it, daddy?" Ino leaned up on her tippy toes and planted a passionate K on Naruto before winking at him and sauntering into the house. Inoki saw the shit-eating grin on Naruto's face and scowled. "Look here, young man, that there is my daughter. She is my princess, and you will treat her as such." Naruto nodded and smiled disarmingly at the irate man. "I know, she is my princess too." That took the fire out of Inoki's sails, but he still maintained his stern look. Cough. "Well, good. I am glad we came to that understanding. Yup, so I am sure we will be seeing each other more often. On my mother, I swear that I will treat your daughter like the princess she is. I am sure you know that as a near 16, the council is going to try to put me under the control of the greedy paws. When the time comes, I hope I have your support." Inoki's scowl deepened as he understood Naruto's meaning and knew that he was 100% correct. "If my daughter wishes to continue things with you, you will have my support." "Thanks, Mr. Yamanaka. See you next week for my session." Inoki blanked. Was he just talked down in less than a minute by a teenager? Cough. "Sure, I will see you then. It will be a solo session without your alters. How is the memory separation going?" "I am still having lucid dreams, but nothing like direct transfer. Every dream shows them in heightened emotional states, like when Rias is hooking up with Anko or Hikari is playing with her friends. I am trying to respect their privacy, but I think my subconscious is saying that I cannot completely separate from them," Naruto said, clearly deep in thought. Inoki, in professional mode, nodded along. "I think you are right. We will continue to keep a close eye on it. Continue the resting periods for each of them and make sure to stay on top of your meditation. Any new personalities emerging?" "Nope. Well, it's late and we can start from there next week." "Thanks, Daddy." Before Inoki could retaliate, Naruto used Shunshin to disappear from sight. Inoki growled and slammed the door closed behind him. Damn brat. He saw Lina and Ino talking excitedly about the date and a pleasant smile worked its way onto his face. He was about to sit down on the couch and join the conversation when both blondes screeched at him and claimed that this was girl talk. With a final scowl, Inoki retired to his room for the night. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.